Welcome into Lock It In with Cam Rogers right here on Believe, presented by betonline.ag. Use that promo code BELIEVE for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. My name is Cam Rogers. We've got a lot to unpack. Of course, there is something going on in the golf world that will change the way in which we view golf for the foreseeable future. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to share my thoughts. I took yesterday to digest, for the most part, everything that went down and the shock value that went along with it. I've got some thoughts for one Jay Monahan. I'll talk about him here on Lock It In. Follow me on social media, Cam Rogers Live on Twitter and Instagram, Cam Rogers Show on TikTok as well. The Belmont Stakes, 155th edition of such, will be contested on Saturday out there in Elmont, New York. I've got my picks for that race, the final leg of the Triple Crown, the test of the champion, as they call it. I've got some betting trends and all of that good stuff for the Belmont Stakes. I'll talk about it later in the program. Let's talk about the bombshell that went down yesterday. The PGA Tour, LIV Golf, and the DP World Tour, formerly known as the European Tour, have all agreed to create a new commercial entity in golf and to unify the sport. All three of them are merging. Jay Monahan, PGA Tour commissioner, called it a momentous day for the tour and the game of golf. This is all in conjunction with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. Details are very, very thin at this juncture. Jay Monahan said it. It's more so of a framework yet to be filled out with details and negotiations. Include the PGA Tour's commercial businesses and rights, as well as those of the DP World Tour. The PGA Tour will remain a non-profit. That is notable. Jay Monahan is going to be the CEO of this new golf venture. Second man in line. The governor of PIF, the investment fund, will become the chairman of the board of directors. So in essence, Jay Monahan is going to answer to the Saudis. The most prominent professional golf league in the world will be run by the Saudis. This announcement, by the way, ends all litigation between LIV and the PGA Tour. That is all done. The Saudis are the lone investor to this new tour and must approve of any additional investments and money. Jay Monahan met with players yesterday at the RBC Canadian Open. Sources say that did not go great. Heated, intense, I'm hearing. There were a lot of standing ovations for a lot of the golfers who spoke up against Jay Monahan. So the PGA Tour commissioner is going to have a lot to answer to. Now, Initial reactions, I was shocked, considering none of us heard a peep about this, which is rare in today's media world, right? Leaks happen all the time. Not with this. I think Monahan on purpose kept a very tight-knit group as far as discussing this is concerned. 5 people in total at the most. I think it might be 4. So, yeah, wild stuff. Now, this is why I'm annoyed. Jay Monahan, for the past year, consistently railed on the LIV Tour, called it immoral, said that any player who left the PGA Tour for the LIV Golf Series will be suspended indefinitely with a very, very minute chance of coming back. He accused LIV Golf of sports washing. That was a quote in the antitrust lawsuit against LIV and the Saudis. Jay Monahan, 1 year ago, invoked 9/11 to cement his stance that the PGA Tour was the place to be and the LIV Tour was not. Think about that. He invokes 9/11. He says he knows some families who lost loved ones on that day. And yesterday, he cashes out, puts his hand up to the Saudis and says, all right, I'll take the money. Welcomes them to the table for negotiation. This might be the most hypocritical thing I have ever seen in sports. You see it all the time with politicians, but not as much, at least this blatant, in sports. With Jim Nantz at the RBC Canadian Open a year ago, Jay Monahan said this, quote, "You never have to apologize for playing on the PGA Tour." LIV Golf is now under the same umbrella as the PGA Tour. What's the takeaway? Money talks, guys. Money talks. It rules the world. I don't care what anybody else says. This is Exhibit A. Morals be damned. Money talks always. 17th century philosopher Thomas Hobbes once said, all humans are born selfish and evil. Well, Monahan certainly is selfish. So what changed between now and a year ago with the PGA Tour commissioner? Obviously, the big paycheck. That changed. What else, though? LIV golfers were playing well at the major championships. Heck, one of them won one. Brooks Koepka, PGA Championship, Oak Hill. The Masters, Brooks was T2. Phil was T2. Over the age of 50. Still getting it done. Tiger Woods is nowhere to be found right now, and there is concern that maybe he's never going to play again. I think there is a ratings issue with the PGA Tour. Now, we have had the PGA Tour go on without Tiger, but not with a rival tour at the same time. And then I think the final thing is this: ongoing litigation, antitrust lawsuits. That stuff can go on for years. And that means it can get pretty expensive. Here's the thing. The PIF, they have $600 billion in assets. The PGA Tour can't match that. It would get way too expensive to keep fighting with LIV. So at the end of the day, Jay was like, from a financial perspective, I guess this makes sense. Bring PIF and LIV to the table. Now, if you are a long-standing follower of my content, you know that I had no qualms whatsoever for guys going from the PGA Tour to LIV. Go get your money. Set up your family for life. Do your thing. But it's a problem when you say one thing and a year later, you do something else and give the players no heads up whatsoever. Imagine if you are Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, the torch holders of the PGA Tour, the loyalists. They've got to be irate because not only did they miss out on the money from LIV, they got slighted by their own commissioner. So when I say Jay Monahan has to answer to a lot, he does. Players, media, fans. What does this new golf league even look like? Will these guys even play in it? Like Rory or Rahm or JT. I don't think Tiger Woods has any interest in participating in this. Jack Nicklaus made the PGA Tour a thing. I'll be curious to hear what he has to say about all of this. But just wild stuff. And listen, a year from now, all could be good. The Saudis may have really good intentions. They want to fix things. Maybe this all works out. But what Jay Monahan pulled on these players is just straight up disrespectful. I mean, these guys don't even get paid to stay in hotels and travel to these tour events. They are independent contractors. The last thing they need is their commissioner to turn his back on them. And he did. So, hoping for the best with this, honestly. We're going to learn a lot this summer. Oh, by the way, we've got a major championship next week, the U.S. Open. A lot to unpack with that. The USGA, the leadership there will get asked about this. Now, they aren't involved in any of this. None of the majors are. Remember, the four majors are governed by four separate entities: Augusta National Golf Club, the R&A with the British Open, USGA with the US Open, and the PGA, which is separate from the PGA Tour, running the PGA Championship. So, big story in golf. I will be tracking it all right here on Lock It In. Let's turn to the 155th Belmont Stakes, the test of the champion, the run for the Carnations. Belmont Park in Elmont, New York. the third leg of the Triple Crown. Forte is back after what happened at the Derby, was scratched, not healthy. Forte there at post position 6. Tapit Trice at 3-1. Rail position 2. Angel of Empire 7-2. Position 8. Those are the 3 favorites here as we get you going. Let's talk about key betting trends before I get into my pick. And my pick is based off of these key trends. Number 1, rest and not racing in the Preakness. Very important. 10 of the last 13 winners went right from the Kentucky Derby to the Belmont. Over the last 20 years, only 3 Preakness starters, not even winners, starters, won the Belmont, and 2 of them were Triple Crown winners. So factor that in. Maybe don't bet Forte. Over the last 2 decades, only 30% of the favorites have won. 8 of the last 20 Belmont Stakes winners started at 11-1 or higher. So it has been a breeding ground for long shots as compared to the Derby and the Preakness. By the way, this is the longest track of the 3 Triple Crown races, left turn all the way. So different direction. Look for proven graded stakes winners, winning 13 of the last 20 editions. Angel of Empire, Forte, Hit Show in that category. National Treasure, the Preakness winner, is also in that category. Tapit Trice, too. Genetics. 14 of the last 16 Belmont winners were sired by stallions who won Grade 1 races at 1 1/8 miles or longer. Angel of Empire, one of those horses. Tapit Trice as well. Hit Show in that category. I think you are tracking maybe on where I am going with my picks. My pick to win the Belmont Stakes, Tapit Trice, a son of Tapit, trained by Todd Pletcher. Just a decorated career by him. Well-rested horse. Did not race in the Preakness. Won the Grade 1 Toyota Bluegrass Stakes, which is great on the resume. And this sets up better, I think, for Tapit's slower pace. He struggled at the Derby, got off to a slow start, couldn't close. That's not his style. He's more of a stalker, pacer. You need that here this week. I'll give you a sleeper as well. Hit Show finished 5th at the Derby as a 24-1 long shot. Could definitely see this horse show this week. In fact, here's my 1 through 3. Tapit Trice, Angel of Empire, Hit Show. No Forte. I think Forte could be 4 in the rankings. Belmont Stakes this week. Enjoy it. This has been Lock It In with Cam Rogers right here on Believe. Get at me on social media, Cam Rogers Live. We are presented by betonline.ag. I will talk to you very, very soon.